Now we're harvesting onions as well as those cool season crops. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Kim and we're in the garden again today, which seems to be where I always am these days. And we are going to do a ton of harvesting. Now, some of the harvesting that I'm going to do today, you've already seen me do before, so I'm not going to waste your time with that. And we've had some really nice harvests over the last couple of weeks or so. And so here are some pictures of that final harvest. I think this was the last final harvest. And here's a picture of that last final harvest, as well as how much I harvested. So I'm trying to put the total quantities as well from a weight standpoint for each of my harvests. I am trying this year to capture more holistically how many pounds of food that I'm growing for my family. So I keep saying I'm growing a year's supply of food, and I want you to understand what a year's supply means for me. So I'm weighing everything. Every time I harvest, I'm putting a date, and I'm putting, if it's broccoli, how much it was, if it's cauliflower, how much it was. Now, it's a little more difficult when I get to some of my leafy greens. And so I'm more looking at it as, when I go to put it up, was it 1 meal? Was it 2 meals? So that's how I'm kind of doing the leafy greens versus trying to weigh them because they don't really weigh very much. And so I just showed you my last harvest. This is the picture of the harvest before that and the weights for the different things that I harvested as well. And I will do this going forward for all of my bigger harvests. Now, if I walk out here and grab a potato or I walk out here and grab an onion, I'm not going to capture those. But when I'm harvesting large quantities, that's how I'm going to capture it. So today already, I've already harvested my collard greens. And so I harvested collard greens just 1 week ago. 1 week ago, I harvested all the collard greens in my garden, and it ended up being, I think it was 2 meals for my family. 1 week later, I've come out and I've harvested again, and I have another meal for the family. So the collard greens are already done. I did it off camera, and I'm going to do some additional harvesting now. Today is supposed to be the coolest day for the next 10 days. We are going to be above 95 degrees Fahrenheit, which is up here of what that is in Celsius because I'm going to have to look it up. But with that type of heat, I can't be in my garden. I can't stand that kind of heat. So I need today get as much stuff harvested as possible. And I'm leaving for another business trip. So for the next 2 weeks, I am traveling back to back on business trips. So for this month of June that we're in, I'm traveling 3 out of the 4 weeks. And with that heat wave coming, and my family having to manage the watering, I'm a little concerned, but we're gonna make sure that it's okay. So we're gonna harvest everything we can so we don't lose anything as we prepare for this extremely abnormal week that's coming up. But we're gonna move on over from here, and I am going to go ahead and harvest the turnip greens. And after I finish harvesting them, I'll show you what we got, and then we'll move on to something else. But turnip greens are next. Turnip greens are harvested. Now, turnip greens, of course, cooks down, wilts down to not very much. So this is 1 meal of turnip greens. I've moved over and I'm going to pick the last of my kohlrabi next. And you've seen me pick these things, so I'm going to fast forward and just show you kind of like the final products. Yeah, I found the rabbit over here enjoying the leaves of my kohlrabi. So there's one there. And we will replant this space this weekend. There's one. Yeah, waiting 1 week definitely helped these size up just a little bit more. And there's another. And this one never headed up. So we're just going to go ahead and cut it back because we're going to replant this space. And I do leave the roots in the ground when I can so they can decompose and give back to the soil. This one never headed up either. So all of the kohlrabi is out for the spring planting, and we will plant more in the fall. But this whole space, we will clear it out and we will plant something else. But we're going to move on, and we're going to go ahead and pick, I think, all of the cauliflower today. So we will go do that. Actually, nope. I'm picking one more Korean radish. Let me pick that. And we can enjoy one more Korean radish. Then we will move over to the broccoli and the cauliflower. You know, that sun is coming on. It's early in the morning, but that sun is coming, and it's coming fast and in a hurry. Another Korean radish. Look at it. It's an absolutely perfect radish. Absolutely perfect. And we will enjoy it. And I only have like 3 or 4 left, so I'm slowly enjoying them. I may plant some more seeds, just to be honest with you. They might be able to handle this weather as long as I give them some shade in the evening, in that early or in that evening heat of the day, that heat, that sun. I may plant a few more. So got a new basket for the broccoli and the cauliflower, and I've already harvested pretty much all of the cauliflower. Oh, I gotta go to the other side. So I have 2 very small heads over here. I'm going to hold off on one. This other one, I will go ahead and harvest it because I want this space. So here's a very small cauliflower from this space right here. And now this space is cleaned out, and we will plant something else. And I'm thinking about planting green beans up here, since green beans seems to be the vegetable of choice of my rabbit. If I put it up here in this 17-inch metal raised bed, the rabbit can't get to it. So I am going to plant green beans in this space, but we need to finish harvesting first. All right, this is my row of cauliflower. Most of my heads have already been picked at least once, so we are working on side shoots from our broccoli plants. And I will work on broccoli shoots the rest of the season. I'm not going to take this space and use it for anything else, just to keep me from going to the store. But there's some broccoli. Did I miss one? Yeah. There's another side shoot. Now this is the only broccoli I have. It is just growing straight up. All right, let's harvest the rest of these. All side shoots today, it looks like. And I did just harvest broccoli a week ago. So I am harvesting broccoli every week now. And if I had been home, I would have probably harvested a couple of times. Not a huge broccoli haul, but it's enough to mix with some cauliflower and we can still get a meal out of it. And I still have cauliflower right here that I'm getting ready to harvest. So 3 more small heads of cauliflower. There's one. There's another. Let me try to get these leaves back. Now this could have gone longer, but I need the space, y'all, because I got to get some beans planted. And then there's the last one right there. But I need this space because I got to get some beans planted, because by now I should have been harvesting beans. I typically start harvesting beans the end of May, and that's usually my bush beans, and my bush beans hold me over until my pole beans are ready. But the rabbits ate them all down. They got rid of all of them. They ate them all away. So I'm going to put more fencing up, and I am going to get more bush beans in the ground. I've already planted some, but I need to plant more just in case, because I'm almost running out of time on planting beans. So there's the broccoli, there's the cauliflower. I need to pick peas next, and then we're going to harvest onions, and I'm going to show you how I preserve, or I should say dry, my onions. But let's grab these sugar snap peas first, and then we'll move over to the onion. And there are a ton of peas over here. This is the first time that I've grown peas over in this area, because this bed wasn't here last year. And this seems to be the perfect location for these peas. My daughter can easily get to them and enjoy them. I picked so many last week, I ended up giving them away to a family friend. And that family friend was able to enjoy broccoli and cauliflower, potatoes. Yes, potatoes. I had so many potatoes that I was able to share potatoes as well with the family friend and with my neighbor. So we are starting to get to that point where we are feeding our friends and family that don't live with me. And that was one of my goals this year, was to provide food for a few other families besides my own. Now, I can't provide a year's supply of food for them, but I can still get my year's supply and share. And that's been the goal. Hey, Mr. B, you working? You've clocked in? All right, I'm not gonna mess with you. You go on and do your job. Get all that pollinating done that we need to get done. Just enough of a garden snack for my daughter to enjoy. So I'm hoping I can grab just a couple more carrots while I'm over here. Hopefully, because I think the carrots are done in this tower. Just one. And then I'll have another empty pocket that I can grow something else in. And I've harvested from this same pocket before, and I left a few behind to give it just a little more time. And now this pocket is empty. So still harvested a couple more carrots out that pocket, but I need that pocket to be empty so I can plant something else in it. At least the green beans up here are growing very well, and they got lots of blooms on them. So we will get a few beans out of this tower, but it's not going to be the quantity that we need to supply food for 11 different people, and to make sure that I put enough away so I still have that year's supply of beans for my family. So we will be adding more beans today. So today I'm going to harvest all of these onions that are right here. And these are short day onion. These are Texas 1015s, I believe is what they are, but they are short day onion, and they are ready and they have bulbed up. I am in Southwest Ohio. I am in zone 6. I guess I need to start saying 6B, because I'm right on the line between 6A and 6B. With the updated zoning maps, they're saying now 6B. So I used to just say 6, but 6B. And I can grow long day and short day onions. Not all short day onions, but Texas 1015s I've grown for years. And they do bud up. So I'm going to bring you in close and show you how these look before I start pulling them out. and then I'll show you how I'm going to store them and dry them for a longer term storage. But these were the first onion that I put in the ground, and these are also the first onion ready, especially since they're short day onion. But we will get these harvested, and then I will show you what I'm going to do with them next. And I grow a year's supply of my own onion, so I haven't purchased onion in the store in over a year. I like sweet onion. Sweet onion typically are not good storage onion, but I just don't like that really strong onion taste. I prefer a sweet onion taste. So let me show you what I got, and I will show you how we're going to move them from this area to a drying space. So I'm just trying to bring you in close so you can see how all of the stems have bent over, and that is a sign that they are ready to be harvested. So once it gets really weak right there in what I call the neck of the onion, they're ready to be harvested. So the first thing that we need to do with these onion are get them out of the ground. Now, some of these are really, really nice size, and some of these are just average size onion. So we will pull them all up. And it's going to be super hot over the next 10 days, no rain. So I technically could just like pull these onion up right here and just leave them in the bed so they can dry. To preserve your onion, you need to get that crispy skin on the outside of your onion. And so they have to dry. So I could leave them in place to do that, but the issue that I have is I have drip irrigation in this bed with other items, so I can't turn the drip off of this bed. So I'm going to move them to an indoor space where they can dry completely. Well, it's going to be my garage. That's the indoor space I'm talking about. But they'll be able to dry there without any risk of, rain or anything like that. And I do have other onion that's not ready yet. And they're, I don't know, from a size standpoint, they're about this size from a bud standpoint. And then I have some that's not quite as far along. So this is my first onion harvest of the season. And I can't really weigh these, not at this point, not with all the green and everything on them. But we will dry them out. I will make sure I capture the weight of these at a later date. But they feel kind of heavy. I'm going to be honest with you. This feels like more than 5 pounds of onion, but we will weigh them later after they've completely dried back and I don't have the weight of the greens. But let me show you what we're going to do with these. So I am now in my garage, and I've moved these two shelving units into my garage so I can put all of my gardening things in here. So it's all in one place now. It's all in a really disorganized space, but I cleaned off 2 shelves, and the onion are going to go in here to dry. When you're drying your onion, you want to try as best you can to put them on a single layer for drying. Last year, I dried my onion in my she shed. So I'm in there trying to enjoy TV, watch a movie, eat some popcorn, right? And the smell of onion was about to take me out. So this year, I've set the shelves up in the garage versus my she shed where I'm trying to relax. So just try to get them in a single layer. That's what you want. So they are in a single layer. And what we want to do is wait for all of that greenery and everything to turn brown. And once all of this turns brown, it'll get that really thin skin, covering the outside of the onion. And that's how it'll preserve. Now, again, these are not great preserving onions. So I will keep them in this state as long as I can, but if they start to come up, if they start to grow again, you know, from the very top where the neck is, they'll start coming up. And if they start doing that, I will take all of these onions, I will chop them up, dice them up, and I'll put them in the freezer so they can last longer. So even though they're not long storage, I can extend the storage by changing the state that I'm saving the onions in. But for now, this is where they need to be until they dry out. And with that super hot weather coming, it should help them dry out pretty quickly. So that's it from today's harvest. We got onions and our typical cool season crops with collards and turnip greens and some sweet peas and some broccoli, cauliflower, a couple carrots and a radish and kohlrabi, right? All of the typical things. But this will be the last harvest for a lot of those cool season crops. But we will keep harvesting. We will harvest whatever's coming in. And next from here, we're going to move into planting some things in the areas that we just cleaned out. But for today, we will end the video here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you come back and hang out again with me really soon. Until next time, and I hope there will be a next time that you hang out with me, Kim, at Kim's Kozy Korner. Bye.